Have you ever wondered why some houses are never decorated for Halloween? Why the lights stay off, even when the whole neighborhood glows with pumpkins and laughter? What if I told you one of those houses isn't empty? What if someone still lives there? Someone who died years ago. Tonight, we're going to that house. They said, whoever knocks on that door after midnight never returns. But this Halloween, someone did. It was October 31st. The air smelled like burnt candles and cold fear. Kids were running down the street with candy bags, shouting, "Trick or treat." But at the end of Maplewood Lane stood a house no one dared to visit. The old Crowley house. Windows broken, curtains half torn, and a faint red light glowing inside. Like someone or something was awake. No one had lived there since the Crowley family disappeared on Halloween night, exactly 13 years ago. Some say they were murdered. Others say they opened a door that should have stayed shut. Tonight, 19-year-old Ethan and his friends decided to prove the stories wrong. Armed with flashlights and a camera, they whispered nervously outside the gate. "Come on, man," Ethan said. "It's just a story." "Then you knock," replied his friend Mia, eyes wide with fear. And so, Ethan did. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Silence. Then, a whisper from inside. "You're late. Before we go deeper into this cursed house, hit subscribe if you dare, because what happens next was caught on camera, and only the brave should hear it." The door creaked open by itself. A long hallway stretched ahead, walls covered in dusty portraits. But the strangest thing, every portrait had the same face. Ethan's. "This isn't funny," Mia whispered. "I didn't touch anything," Ethan said, his voice shaking. Suddenly, all the candles in the house lit up at once, and the front door slammed shut. They weren't alone anymore. Who, or what, was waiting for them inside the Crowley house? And why did every portrait show Ethan's face, even the ones painted before he was born? Previously, Ethan and his friends entered the Crowley house on Halloween night. The door locked behind them, and every painting inside showed Ethan's face, even the ones painted before he was born. Now, the real horror begins. The whispering walls. Mia pointed her flashlight toward the staircase. "Ethan, look." The wallpaper was moving. Not fluttering, moving. Like something behind it was crawling upward. Tiny handprints started forming under the paper, pressing from the inside. One by one, then hundreds. "Let's get out of here," shouted Liam, the third friend. They ran toward the door, but it wouldn't budge. No matter how hard they pulled, the handle felt like ice, locked from the outside. And then, from somewhere upstairs, came a voice, a child's voice. "You came back, Daddy." Ethan froze. What did she say? They followed the sound to a dusty hallway. There, lying on the floor, was a broken photo frame. Inside it, a picture of a man who looked exactly like Ethan, holding a little girl. The photo was dated October 31st, 1923. "That's impossible," Mia whispered. "Ethan, he looks just like you." Ethan's hands began to shake. "No, that can't be me." But the photo's glass cracked again, this time from inside. And when the shards fell away, the man in the photo turned his head and smiled. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from above. Dust rained down from the ceiling. The attic door creaked open slowly. A cold draft swept through the hallway, carrying whispers. "It's time to finish what you started." Ethan stared up at the darkness. "I'm not going up there," Liam said. "We don't have a choice," Ethan replied. "The door won't open. We need to find another way out." They climbed the narrow staircase. Every step groaned like the house itself was breathing. Halfway up, the lights went out. All they could hear was someone breathing behind them. "Who's there?" Mia whispered. Silence. Then, a whisper inches from her ear. "Too late. If you're still listening, you're braver than they were. Subscribe before you forget what's behind you. Because what they find next isn't human." The attic was filled with old toys, rocking chairs, and a single mirror in the corner. But the reflection didn't match. In the mirror, Ethan was standing alone. No Mia, no Liam. "Guys," Ethan turned around, but they were gone. He looked back at the mirror. Now there were 3 figures standing behind him, all smiling, all wearing masks made of flesh. "Join us," they whispered in unison. The mirror cracked, and Ethan saw a 4th figure himself, but his eyes were black and his mouth was sewn shut. Who were those figures in the mirror? Were they ghosts or reflections of what Ethan was becoming? And where did his friends disappear to inside that cursed house? Previously on Halloween night, Ethan, Mia, and Liam entered the Crowley house to prove it wasn't haunted. But what they found was beyond explanation. Mirrors showing strange reflections, portraits of Ethan painted before he was born, and a whisper that called him Daddy. Now, the truth begins to surface. Ethan stumbled backward, staring at the cracked mirror. Mia, Liam, where are you? No response, only the faint sound of a lullaby playing somewhere below. He followed the melody to the living room. A music box was spinning by itself. The same tune from the photo he saw earlier, the one with the little girl. You shouldn't have come back, a voice whispered. Ethan turned. Mia stood in the doorway, pale, trembling. Where's Liam? Ethan asked. Mia's lips quivered. He's gone. Something took him. What do you mean took him? It came out of the wall, Ethan. It had your face. Mia pointed to the corner of the room where the wallpaper had peeled off, revealing a wooden door. On it were carved the words, "Room for one more." Ethan hesitated, then slowly pushed it open. A narrow passage stretched ahead, lined with candles, each burning with a blue flame. At the end stood a small table, with a dusty book resting on it. The cover read, The Crowley Journal 1923. Ethan opened it. The handwriting was shaky. October 31st, 1923. He came to me again. The man who wears my face. He says he is me from another time, but his eyes are hollow. He wants my daughter to finish the cycle. Ethan dropped the book. No, this can't be real. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from behind. Mia screamed. Liam was standing there, but something was wrong. His head was tilted at an unnatural angle. His eyes were white. Liam, Ethan whispered. She's waiting upstairs. Liam said, his voice distorted. She wants her father. He stepped closer, twitching with every movement. Mia backed away in horror. Stay away from us, she cried. Liam smiled. You can't leave. Not again. And then his body collapsed like a puppet with its strings cut. The house shook violently. All the lights went out. If your heart's racing right now, you're not alone. Subscribe before you find out who Ethan really is. Because what happens next changes everything. Ethan grabbed the journal again, flipping through the last page. The man who wears my face said he will return every 13 years, until his soul finds peace, or another takes his place. Ethan's hands trembled. That means, it's me. Mia stared at him. What are you talking about? I'm the one who started this. I've been here before. From the hallway, the little girl's voice echoed. Daddy, you came back. Mia screamed as a dark figure stepped out of the shadows, a man with Ethan's face, but hollow black eyes. He whispered, it's time to finish what you began. Ethan Crowley. Is Ethan truly the reincarnation of the man who cursed this house? And if so, what will he have to sacrifice to end it? Or will the Crowley house claim another soul tonight? Last time on Halloween night, Ethan found the Crowley journal, proof that he was somehow connected to this house, and that every 13 years, a man with his face returns to finish a deadly ritual. Now, the final Halloween begins. The dark figure stepped closer, his face identical to Ethan's, pale, cracked like porcelain. His voice, calm but hollow. You took my place. Now you'll take my curse. Ethan shook his head. No, you're not real. Not real? The figure laughed softly. Then why do you remember her lullaby? And suddenly, memories flooded Ethan's mind. A burning candle, a crying child, and his own hands closing a door. I was here before, he whispered. The figure smiled. And you left her. You left us all to burn. The air grew heavy. The walls bled with shadow. Every candle burst into blue flame. Mia grabbed Ethan's arm. We have to get out of here. But the figure turned toward her. No one leaves until the father stays. The floorboards cracked beneath them. Mia screamed as black hands rose from the ground, grabbing her legs. Ethan, help me. He pulled her hand, but the figure whispered a single word. Remember. In that instant, Ethan saw the truth. Mia was never real. She was part of the curse, a memory replaying itself every 13 years. Her face began to fade. Ethan, she whispered, end it this time. Then she was gone. Ethan stumbled into the basement, following the voice of the little girl. Candles surrounded a circle drawn in blood. At the center, a small skeleton wearing a red ribbon. The girl's voice echoed softly. "You promised you'd come back, Daddy." Tears filled Ethan's eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't know. I didn't remember." The shadow figure appeared behind him. "Then remember this." He handed Ethan an old silver knife. "One must die for the other to be free." Ethan looked between the knife and the little girl's bones. "No more." He turned the blade toward himself. "It ends with me," and plunged it into his chest. The house began to shake violently. The walls screamed as portraits burned away. The shadow figure let out a final roar before shattering into ash. Ethan fell beside the skeleton, blood pooling beneath him. The little girl's voice whispered one last time, "Thank you, Daddy." And then, silence. The Crowley house crumbled into dust. Outside, as dawn broke over Maplewood Lane, a new family stopped at the empty lot. A little boy pointed to the ground. "Mom, look, there's a pumpkin here." But carved into it were the words, "See you next Halloween." If this story kept your heart racing until the end, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it. Because on Story Canvas, the next nightmare is already waiting. Stay brave, stay awake, and remember, some stories never die.